Hello, fellers. This is, and fellettes. Don't let me go there. Love all my gals. Thank you for following me. Well, thank you for tuning in. I hope that you will enjoy this episode as much as I'm going to enjoy bringing it to you. Each week, twice a week, you can come here, and I usually work on my solid 52 pickup truck, Chevrolet. This week, however, it's going to be a little bit different. I know it's hot, it's fixing to rain, so I ain't got a whole lot of time, so it's Thursday. I know it's supposed to be the longer show, but here's the thing. I looked up on my statistics, and everybody seems to be watching about 4 minutes of this show, and it takes me 3 days sometimes to edit one of these things.
Blah, 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 blah.
Not that I enjoy it. I enjoy it. But if you're only going to watch 4 minutes of it, but I do appreciate you guys that stick it out to the end, especially last week. I'm starting to believe y'all wouldn't tell me if P-Roy showed up. I'm thinking about half of you out there wouldn't tell me anyway, because I noticed I had to go and look all the way to the end, and P-Roy showed up and I didn't know it. He even showed up in the middle of it, right over in that corner. Nobody told me. Nobody told me. That's all right. Now, don't get me wrong. My half-cousin brother, he's all right. I like him. But he's got a little bit of attitude sometimes. But Lord, he sure does try to help. Sometimes he tries to help. I don't know where he gets his attitude from. I believe it's Tammy. Oh, I'm going to pay for that. Anyway, so I'll tell you what let's do. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. Let me tell you about some things that happened last week that I think you'll be interested in, because I'm going to devote the whole story around it, all right? All right, let's get this thing started. All right, so let's start this thing off with Did You Know? You know, several episodes ago, it's been a while, about, I don't know, 4 or 5 episodes, I worked with Philip on his tractor, you know. We went over there several times. I went over there a couple times, you know, helped him work on it. He comes over here and helps me work on my truck, you know. And so we did everything right to that tractor, everything. Even took some of y'all's suggestions. Never could get it to fire off. I don't know what the problem with it is. You know, we did everything that you can think of. You know, he even bought a whole new distributor for it, and the cap, the rotor. We replaced wiring. We did everything we could think of to get it to fire off. It never did fire off. Well, so he called me. He called me up and said, "Hey, look, Rick." I told him, I said, you know, I got a trailer that you can use, that I use for my tractor, and if you want to borrow it, you're certainly welcome to. And he said, all right. So he come over, and he picked it up. We aired the tires up all and made sure everything was all right. Now, I hadn't used that tractor in a good 2 years or so. Well, I used it. Y'all remember when I did the siding on my house, which was about 1.5 years ago? That was the last time I went to pick up some wood and put on. Well, anyway, that was the last time I used it and parked it. So, you know, we pumped up the air, held the air and all this kind of stuff. I told him to check it again when he got to his house. He did. So he took his, he loaded his trailer, his tractor up, got it on there and took it over there. And I told him, I said, look, you just hold on. I hadn't used it in a couple of years. So just hold on to my tractor if you want to. I know, I mean my trailer, I know I won't be using it. So, the very next day, I've been looking for a you know, a little trail cart, you know, like a 2x4, 4x4, side by side, you know. Very next day I found one. So, old Philip gets pretty excited about when I said, well, look, it ain't no big deal. I can probably borrow one from my next door neighbor or something if it's a problem. So I said, but now the reason I called is because the guy, he's probably not gonna want to work on that trailer, work on that tractor on the trailer. So you're gonna have to bring it back home anyway. Well, all right. So sure enough, that's what happened. The guy took they took the tractor off the trailer, no problem. And so I said, well, I'll tell you what, if you want to go with me, we got to go well on the other side of Montgomery to pick it up. If you want to go with me, I'll just come by and pick up the trailer and we both go over there. All right, sounds like a good deal. Did I mention it's supposed to rain? Well, it's supposed to rain. I don't think I mentioned that. Of course, it's supposed to rain every day this week too. That's why I'm trying to hurry. Well, so we drove all the way over there without any problem. I think we got lost a couple of times. We're going through Wetumpka, but other than that, I mean, we did okay. So we got over there. Now this is a Bighorn, and I had never heard of one, but it looks really nice. And I found it on Facebook on Marketplace, and the guy deals in them, and he said this particular one had a problem with the electrical on it. It wasn't charging the battery. It killed the battery, as a matter of fact. And they just didn't have time to fool with it, or they couldn't fix it or something like that. Now this is normally about a $6,900 little 2x4. It's like a golf cart, but it's a little souped up. But anyway, so he offered it to me because guess who's the electrician? That's right, me. So I wasn't scared of the electrical problem of it. He said it ran like a top, which it does. So anyway, when we got there, the first thing that happened was we went to look at it and everything, pull the I'm gonna turn you around. Pull this up. Guess what? Big old wasp nest up under there. So the first thing we had to do is kill a bunch of wasps. They were actually right up under there. And that was the first thing. Then we got it loaded up. And we didn't get down the road hardly any. Got it on the interstate. Blew a tire on the trailer. All right. So what happens? I don't know if many of you have had blown tires. What usually happens to a trailer when you blow a tire? Now, last time I blew a tire, I did the same thing. Tears the fender up, bends that fender under, cuts it right into the tire. Well, so not only that, when it blew, half of the rubber that come off the tire hit a car behind us, knocked the windshield, busted it up, but didn't bust it out, but just busted it all to pieces. Looked like somebody hit it with a bat. So she comes driving up real slow behind us, and I looked at her and I said, look, I hate this. I asked her, I said, do you have insurance? She said, yeah. I said, well, your insurance will take care of it. She said, yeah, it's going to take. I told her, I said, well, I just want to make sure you was all right. And she wanted to make sure I was all right. I said, yeah, we're good. So we went back around and we checked. The tire was not flat all the way because I have a tandem trailer. So that means that there's two tires on there. And that one would still look like it had a little bit of air in it, even though it had blown all to pieces. Like I said, it was separating because it was dry rotted. So anyway, we limped it down to the first filling station we got to off the interstate. So I had thrown a entirely different type of tire in the back of the trailer, just in case I had a flat. However, I knew that it was a 5-hole, but I didn't know whether or not it was going to fit it. But I was kind of hoping it would, because it come off my other trailer. But I didn't know. And I had told, before we started this trip, I said, Philip, why don't you grab your impact wrench just in case something happens. Something happens? Yeah, something happens. I said, and he looked everywhere for a long time. He couldn't find his impact wrench. So we ended up putting one of those what do you call this? X wrenches like you use for tires. Put it in the back. So we had that. Well, I didn't have a jack. I was in that Ford right there, and at 150, and there wasn't no jack in it. So here we are, and so Philip's getting a little frustrated. I could tell it. I said, wait a minute, let's just think about this. So we had two wood ramps that we used to put it up on the trailer. And I had a come along. It was big. It was about that big, about the size of a little bit bigger than, say, a softball, you know, the body of it, all metal. So I said, I'll tell you what, it's tandem trailer. I've had to do this before. What we'll do is we'll set down the come along in front of the first tire and put that piece of wood in front of it, and I'll pull the truck up and it'll pull the trailer up, and it'll pull it up off the ground. Yeah. No, well, I'm not understanding. I said, okay, well, do me a favor, just stand right here, and I got it all set up. And I said, I'll tell you what, just stand right here, and I'm gonna drive forward with my. Okay. So I look. Philip's standing about this far. He's standing about this far away from the trailer. I'm going. Oh. I said, Philip, I tell you what, why don't you pull the truck up? Because he really didn't quite understand what I was doing. And so I said, just pull the truck up until I tell you to stop. Sure enough, it went right up, whoop, and the tire was off the ground. So we had the 4-way wrench, and so we took the tire off. And thank goodness that spoke tire that I had gotten off another trailer of mine fit perfect. Okay, so we stuck it back on there. And I told Philip, I said, Philip, I looked at all these tires, and we ain't gonna make it back to Selma with these tires. So we're gonna have to find us some. And did I mention it was raining? I said, Philip, we ain't gonna make it back to Selma on these tires. We're gonna have to go buy some tires. So we were right outside of Montgomery at this point, and man, I looked. We stopped, I think, at least 3 places. Everybody had 2 tires. Nobody had 4. They wanted $115 a piece for a tire. Now, I wasn't ready to pay no 460 something dollars, 440, I don't know, 440 something dollars for 45, I think it is, for no tires today. I was really looking to get maybe paying 50 a piece for them to get out of there for 200, but that didn't happen. So I said, look, we're gonna have to trust the Lord in something. I said, we're gonna have to, let's go on to Prattville. I know a place over there, they sell used tires and stuff. So we left, and sure enough, we made it all the way to Prattville. And so we had to wait. I asked him, I said, have y'all got? Well, we don't have your size in used tires. Okay. Well, I'm getting desperate now because this is my last chance, right? So, so they said, well, we got 4 brand new tires, and they're $115 a piece. Well, I got to bite the bullet on this one because I need to get to Selma, right? And if you put 2 and 2 together here, this trailer I had lent to Philip, so we know that when we get back to Selma, we're gonna have to have good tires to go pick up his trailer, his tractor. So they said, well, just pull right over yonder and wait, and I'm gonna have you back your trailer up into our garage. Now, I don't know if y'all have backed up trailers very much or not, but well, I have. So that really wasn't that big of a challenge. So we waited about a good 45 minutes, and so finally he come up and he backs up in there. I back up in there, you know, and I back up, and he took the first tire off, and he took the second tire off, and he says, "Oh, senor, I got to tell you something." I said, "What?" He said, "Well, we only have 2 new tires, but I found 2 used tires." Really? Yeah. I said, look, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I want 1 new tire on this side, and I want 1 new tire on that side. Okay? I want 1 used tire on this side and 1 used tire on that side. So if something blows, I'll have a good tire at least that we can limp it home. So that's what we did. Did I mention it was raining? I'm gonna tell you what, by the time we got home, me and him was exhausted and hot. But we did get it home, and we did get, that ended up costing me, well, I had made a deal with him. I said, okay, I'll take the 4 tires. Go ask your boss if he'll take $400 cash for the 4. So he came back and he said, yeah. So now I'm wondering, now how much is he going to charge me for 2 new tires and 2 used tires? Well, he charged me $50 a piece for the used tire, and to be honest with you, one of them looks almost as good as a new tire. So I ended up having 2 good used tires and 2 good brand new tires on there. So it's just $300. So what do you do, right? But anyway, so I get it home. The guy says, well, you know, it's got electrical problems. And I look in here. By the way, it's been raining, that's why I put up in here, and I've just been going through dirt. Everything that you see electrical in here was unhooked. All right. Everything that you see in here, electrical, was unhooked. I have no manual, no schematic, no nothing, right? What I know I can do is I can match up, because all of those sockets are different, right? So this socket goes to that socket, this, and so on. So I put everything back together. I bought a battery that's too tall. I measured this battery to make sure that it was going to fit. I did not measure how tall. So it don't fit. So that's how come I have a bungee cord holding down the hood. All right. See that? It don't. The only thing I've left unhooked is this thing right here, because it goes beep 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 when I put it in reverse. So I don't want that feature, so I unplugged it. However, what he told me was run the battery down, and there was all other kind of electrical problems. Well, what they did is they unplugged everything, trying to figure out what that electrical problem was. I went to YouTube and I took the spark plug out. I was getting no spark whatsoever. So I figured it's the coil. I ordered a coil off Amazon. All right, I found one, and believe it or not, I can't hardly find any parts for this thing. After I got it running down the road, I found out it had a broke motor mount. Okay, well, I tried for a day to try to find a Bighorn motor mount. No, there's nothing that sells parts for a Bighorn. I did not know this, and I also found out that this thing is mostly sold through Tractor Supply. If y'all ever seen them sitting in front of Tractor Supply, this is one of them. All right, nice looking rig and everything, real, but you just can't get parts for it hardly. So anyway, I got to looking at it, and I said, you know what? I can weld that back together. So I welded the motor mount back together, and I decided to check out and check. I watched on how to, how to check. Of course, I already kind of knew, but anyway, I just wanted to make sure, and to check the coil. So there, each one of these UTVs have different kinds of coil, and they're all different. So you have to check them differently. And so I found this coil on YouTube, and I checked it, and guess what? Yeah, it checked good, even though I wasn't getting any spark out of it. So I got to looking at the connector, and I noticed when I took that connector off that the female connector was kind of messed up, but it looked like to me, if you plug it up, it ought to make contact. Well, guess what? I said, you know what? I'm gonna push it all back together, make it look good, make it I plugged that sucker in and hit that. That's a good sound. That's a good sound that thing makes then. Matter of fact, listen to this right here. There you go. That's right. Look here. This thing's even got blinkers. Got lights, dimming switches, park. So, anyway. So just as soon as I fixed the coil, and apparently no one else, wherever they worked on this thing before, they didn't check the connector for the coil, and that's what it was. So it seems to be charging. I took it down the road. It goes, I know, 37 miles an hour at a peak going downhill, with your feet, pushing. But I was real pleased for it. It just normally goes 35. So between 0 and 35, that's pretty good. It's got a low granny gear and a high gear, and then reverse, of course. That doesn't go beep, 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 beep anymore. Okay, so anyway, that was the little trip that we had. I'll show you some pictures at the end, and I'm gonna try to keep P-Roy off of it so it doesn't get tore up again. But you know how that is. He'll probably find it. I don't know. Well, look here, fellers and fellettes. I hope you've had a good time this episode. I enjoyed bringing it to you. I'm just glad we got home safe and sound without. Well, we had an incident, but it could have gone a whole lot worse. That thing could have flipped over in the highway, and everything could have gotten tore up and run over, but thank God he was looking after us. But anyway, look here, I think this is going to be the end of this one because it is fixing to rain. So, hey, look here, y'all have a good week. I hope that you do. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's, Monday's episode. If you did, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out, especially if you comment too, okay? Well, I guess y'all know what I'm fixing to say, right? Yeah. Please don't litter. It just ain't pretty. Littering ain't pretty, so please don't litter. And look here, y'all be sweet. Oh no. My 4x4 is gone. I bet I know who had it. P-Roy.